Every single day, SWAT and tactical teams around the world are tasked with dealing with the most dangerous people in our societies. It's the basis for countless movies, TV shows, and video games. If you're a guy, which 98% of you who watch my channel are, you've probably had a fantasy of clearing out a room like John Wick. Well, now you can live out your SWAT team dreams in this beauty little game. So let's get to the review of Ready or Not. Ready or Not is a hardcore SWAT simulator to its core. It's unforgiving and brutally difficult, but with its difficulty comes a sense of reality, and I think that's really what the core experience of this game is. Reality. How you approach a house without getting shot through a window, which rooms and floors to clear first, how to identify suspects and civilians as fast as you can, and how to deal with an ever-changing environment. Because as soon as you die and restart, the entire enemy layout inside of the house gets randomized, which is great because it keeps every try fresh, but it also makes the game that much more unpredictable. So they don't really let you get settled into a map, which in turn makes you rely more on your skills. It's completely different than any other first-person shooter I've ever played, and that's a good thing, although a little challenging if you're used to flying around in Warzone or Battlefield. Another part of the Ready or Not simulation experience is how the enemy AI behave. The variation in behavior from one suspect to the next keeps you on your toes, and how they act can be altered by how you want to deal with the situation. If you go in guns blazing, you're going to get that right back at you. If you flashbang the room and enter with a taser or a beanbag gun, you'll find the suspects far easier to deal with, as you'd imagine. But it's easier said than done in reality. It took us playing for hours and hours to start to understand the AI and how hostile they can be. I'll give you some quick examples. We had a small room with two suspects surrendering with their hands up. My buddy went in to cuff them, and the second he turned his back to one of them, she picked up a knife and stabbed him in the neck. Yeah, it was wild. And it's the reality of the job. In another situation, I had a suspect surrendering and lowering her weapon, and at the last second, she popped up and started shooting, so I had to lace her. You also have suspects who try to fake dead, and then they will shoot you in the back if they can. The AI really makes the game unpredictable and replayable, and it's the reason why this game is as good as it is. So now that we've got the immersion aspect of the game out of the way, let's talk about the guns and equipment. This is part of the game that threw me off a little bit because they give you all the guns and equipment out of the gate. No grinding to unlock and improve equipment. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing yet. I quite like the gun grind in games, although this is a sim game at the end of the day, and in real life guns aren't locked behind levels, so this is not a hill I'm about to die on. But the actual guns themselves are really great. They give you just about every modern gun you would want for storming into a hostile environment, from full auto rifles and AK variants to beanbag shotguns and MP40s. And the way they shoot and feel is really nice, each with their own recoil patterns and sound. I also liked how you can reload while looking down the sight. It's something we've come to expect in modern FPS games now, but it's definitely a nice little touch. You also have all the attachments you'd expect in a SWAT simulator. Silencers, lasers, infrared lasers, mounted lights, and then you have the personal equipment like night vision, different armors which affect protection and speed. So now that we've covered gear, let's talk about maybe the best part of the game, breaching and clearing rooms. And to breach rooms, you have a few different tools at your disposal. The first and maybe most important tool is the mirror gun, which allows you to look under a door and into a room to check for hostiles. It's a must-have tool in your squad. So now that you've checked the room, it's time to breach. My favorite yet loud breaching tool is C2, because it both opens the door in the coolest fashion and it concusses anyone close to the door on the other side, allowing for quick arrests or kills. One of my favorite parts of this game is concussing a suspect and then tasing them. It's quite awesome. Even though the taser animation is not great, it's still a lot of fun. So that's only one way to get into a room. You can also use the battering ram, which is quite nice, the breaching shotgun, or the ballistic shield, all having their own strengths and weaknesses. Like the ballistic shield, if you take too much gunfire, you will not be able to see through the window in the shield anymore, rendering it almost useless. Little details like this really make you think about the team composition and gear that everyone is carrying on them. You also have the ability to gently open a door and toss in a flashbang, gas, or stinger. You also have a launcher that can be used in your tactical device slot that launches flashbangs and such. It allows you to flash from a further distance, I guess. So I started off playing this game with a friend, but a lot of the game I played alone with the AI team. And the way you can command that team is actually very well done. You can pretty much direct them to do just about everything for you if you want. And it gives you the freedom to enter multiple rooms at one time, as you can control 3 different groups at once to do different tasks. This definitely helps new players like myself get used to maps and gameplay, but I'm not gonna lie, it can be clunky at times. They tend to stand a little too close to you and block your movement quite often. It's something the devs definitely need to work on. I found myself saying, "Get the fuck out of my way" quite often, but their help was definitely a plus. They're also quite a bit trigger happy at times. I had a couple AI officers kill innocent people, thus ruining my run. Okay, so we've covered the guns, the gear, the immersion, the AI. So let's talk about a super important part of any game, and that is the maps. A game is only good as its maps, and Ready or Not does not disappoint in this aspect. I believe there are about 11 maps and each have their own feel. You have the nightclub map, which makes you feel like you're in a cyberpunk world with lots of neon colors. There's warehouses and crack dens. You even have a sick and twisted Epstein Island type map where the guy you're looking for is clearly a pedo. And this map is definitely a reality check for gamers. Yes, it's a game, but this is also a SWAT simulator, and it's not all guns blazing and glory. In the real world, shit like this does happen. There are evil people who live amongst us, and I appreciate the devs not shying away from the realities of our world. Also, every map has 5 modes or 5 difficulties. Barricaded suspects, which is normal, raid, which is hard, active shooter, which is another hard mode, bomb threat, which is very hard, and hostage rescue, which is insane. I'm not going to get into the details of every single mode. I could hardly make it through a normal difficulty map, and I did get through a raid, which is awesome because they give you looser rules of engagement, so it really just depends on your own skill level. I'm fairly new to PC, so my skills aren't all that great yet. So with that being said, I'm going to give you some closing thoughts here. While I really love a lot of the aspects of this game, the pace can be a little too slow for me at times. I'm more of a faster paced gamer, but I've also seen people do a lot of speed runs, and it is possible to go faster in this game. So maybe I just need to level up my SWAT skills a little bit. I also think the price is a little high. If you're on the fence about Ready or Not, I would definitely wait for a sale. But all in all, this is a very good simulator. It feels good, it's very lifelike, it's difficult and brutal, the details are there, the audio is great, and it's a reminder of the realities of our fucked up world and the experiences of the people who have to deal with the criminals in our society. If you got anything from this video, please like and subscribe. I also reply to almost every single comment, so let it fly. This has been Eli with Rage Review, and until next time, take care, you greasy little nerds.